arrest in a nearly 4-decade-old cold case. Thanks to cutting-edge DNA technology, the arrest happening exactly 39 years to the day.
When Parabon Nanolabs used that sample to create 3D models of the suspected killer's face.
It's heartbreaking. We miss her, and we're going to find her. We're going to keep looking until we do.
It's like a never-ending nightmare. It doesn't end. It keeps returning and coming back.
I think it ends a little bit too abruptly there, huh?
Yeah, I think so. So it's just you and I on here, Jeff.
Yeah. We'll get there.
So how was your day today?
Uneventful. Day off. Yesterday was a little bit slow at the bar. But we'll get there as well.
I got to work
today. Fun.
So fortunate.
Yeah, I think maybe we should have a little bit of a longer timer. Maybe like something like a minute or two. Just to let people pop in.
I did get to work with my best buddy Stacy at work today, so that was good. Throwing her a shout out. She said she's gonna try to watch.
Oh, okay.
So you got 10 people in here now. How's everyone doing tonight?
Oh, that's right. And we do have also when we get when we start talking about the cases.
We don't actually have a guest tonight, so you have to listen to Jeff and I just talk.
Yeah, it's just us fools.
But we'd like you guys to join in. Yeah, we'd love to have you guys join in, make some comments, ask some questions, maybe bring up a case or two that you're interested in. You could also give us a call here at 207-619-2661 if there's something you want to talk about or a question you may have.
But yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to be getting for now.
All right. So do you have anything before we start, Jeff?
No. Take a sip.
There you go. So tonight's case, we're going to focus on Roger Day. There's not a whole lot of information about his case. Roger went missing October 4th, 1973 from Proctor, Maine. Roger and his siblings were at home. His mom had left to go to work. They were eating breakfast, and he told his siblings he was going to go to the Freiburg Fair. By the way, I spelled Freiburg wrong. I just realized. There's no confirmed sighting of Roger at the fair. However, there was some people that said they believe they had seen him there. So we don't know if he, was injured on the way to the fair or if someone picked him up, took a ride from a stranger that obviously meant to give him do harm to him. His father for years would still go to the Freiburg Fair, Jeff, and look to see if he could find his son because he had the hope that Roger had gone away and ran off with the circuit or the fair to be a carny. So a few years after his disappearance, the family had realized that one of their neighbors, the guy lived like 2 or 3 houses down, was a pedophile. He had been arrested for assaulting other children, and I guess the police believe that he may be involved as well. In 2013, they used ground penetrating radar in his basement, and they found an anomaly. They got a warrant to dig that basement up. Unfortunately, Roger was not found. It's lots of things on Web Sleuths talked about the case, wondering, did he... First of all, I don't think he could have ridden a bike all the way from Proctor to Freiburg Fair. As you can see here, it's a 20-mile ride. So
that's a hell of a ride on a bicycle.
To do that on a bike, that's a 3-hour ride anyway.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he really did think he had a ride there. The neighbor could have used that to entice him. Hey, Roger, I'll give you a ride to the Freiburg Fair today. You want to hang out with me?
But I'm assuming his bicycle is missing, right?
So I had remembered reading that they had found his bicycle. But today, when I was researching again, I didn't find anything about the bike.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess if the bike was missing, he could have been expecting to go to someone's house, and I was going to go with them. They'll give me a ride, sort of deal. Or someone just picked them up along the way.
And this case was one of the ones I wanted to cover. When we first started this, I had spoken with a friend of mine that was from that area. He followed that case closely. He actually knows the family. At one point, he tried to get me in contact with them, but it didn't seem like we could ever make anything work. Yeah, but this, it's crazy to think a 14-year-old kid can just skip school one day and never be seen again. What do you guys think, the viewers? Well, you got 8 viewers right now, but what do you guys think happened to Roger Day?
Yeah, I can't see. How old was he when he went missing?
He was 14 years old.
Right. I mean, well, maybe back in the 70s, I don't know. When I was riding bikes in the 90s, the furthest I was allowed to ride my bike was 2 or 3 miles away. About it.
Well, let's see. In 1990, I had my license.
An old man.
Yeah. Just gonna say something I forgot it was. Oh yeah, so that's one of the things too, right, Jeff? We've heard this in other stories about that time. There's a lot of serial killers around picking up people because everyone was hitchhiking. Young girls would be picked up and never be seen from again.
Right.
That was just a common thing in the 70s, I guess. Not so much nowadays.
Yeah, we didn't have a whole lot. Oh, Sherry is he lived in my town. I think he hitchhiked to Freiburg Fair. Not sure after that. Yeah. I mean, it does make more sense that he would want to hitchhike. Ride his bike for a little bit and stick out a thumb, see if someone would pick him up, or at least for the ride back, he'd have a way to get there faster if
Sherry
have someone to give him a ride.
Sherry, do you know if his bike was ever found? Because I could have sworn I read that, a couple years ago when I was researching the case. Lots of locals headed that way. She wasn't sure about the bike. Yeah, I don't know. It seems strange that he would not take his bike a ways, right, to get started.
Yeah.
And then maybe give up and say, screw this, I'm going to hitchhike.
I'm lazy. I would. I'd start with a ride.
So I'm going to read through. This is on Whereabouts Still Unknown. It's a website, talks about different missing people, but this Roger Merton Day, age 14, went missing from Porter, Maine on October 4th, 1973. Roger vanished after telling his sister that he was going to skip school and go to the Freiburg Fair instead. Their mom had already left for work, leaving Roger and his 3 siblings eating breakfast and waiting for the school bus. Roger walked out of the house that day and was never seen again. Each year, Roger's father would go to the fair and search for him among the carnies on the off chance that he decided to travel with them. I can almost feel that, his dad hoping that he would find him one day. Every year he'd go to the fair, look for him. It's crazy. So sad. His family knew it was an unlikely scenario, though. His sister said that Roger loved life, but had recently become temperamental, a change often associated with the teenage years. Decades later, Roger's family discovered that one of their former neighbors was a pedophile and had been accused of numerous sexual assaults. The family was unaware that he was a pedophile at the time, but looking back, they suspect Roger may have been one of his victims. In one article, it suggested that the neighbor may have been the cause of his recent changed behavior, and speculated that Roger may have told the man he was going to report him. While police were unwilling to comment on this theory, their actions indicate that the neighbor is indeed a person of interest. They searched the property on Route 25 in 2013, property belonging to the same neighbor. Ground penetrating radar indicated an
abnormality.
Thank you.
Okay.
No idea why I can't say that. Abnormality underneath the basement floor, but nothing was found as the result of ensuing dig. I'm usually a pretty good reader, too. I wonder if Roger had known interactions with his neighbor. Did he spend time at the neighbor's house? Perhaps he had a child near Roger's age who would invite him over. I asked the question because it seems unlikely that a 14-year-old boy could be forcibly abducted on his own street in broad daylight. This theory would make much more sense if the neighbor was driving Roger and possibly his own child at the fair. I suppose it's also possible that Roger made it to the fair on his own, encountered the neighbor, and accepted a ride home. The fair itself, I think, would be too populated for an abduction to occur. Roger's sister continues to search for the truth about what happened to her brother.
If it gets to the point, right, where he's at the fair, the still singling out the neighbor thing doesn't hold as much weight. Like, it would make sense for him to get a ride from his house to the fair, but from the fair back, like, he could have run into anyone to give him a ride back. So like it's almost grasping at straws if it gets to the point where he's at the fair. You know, if he did actually make it to the fair,
right,
he's more likely it would be at home. But Sherry also said his dad never missed a year. He was a good man that I knew well.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I'd be devastated.
Does anyone want to call in or ask any more questions about Roger's disappearance before we move on to the active missing?
All right. No, it's just our beautiful faces.
There you go. That's one way to say it. What are some cases you guys are following? The cases that interest you, in-state, out-of-state? See, Jeff, this is why I always have someone here to interview. It's much easier to do that. Let them do all the talking. We just throw out a few questions. We are going to interview the family of Luja Belanger next week. And then the following Wednesday, we'll be interviewing Christy Renee, and she's going to be talking about Diana Estes' case. I couldn't remember Diana's first name. I apologize.
Well, actually, Graham is who we're talking about next, and Alex Jackson.
Yeah, Alex Jackson we talked about last week. That's a crazy case. I don't know what to think. You see a lot of people pointing fingers that the family knows more than they're saying. Some people think that he may be hiding. Others think that foul play is involved.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with that. It was a bit of an intense live stream last week with that. A lot of questions.
If you didn't watch it yet, make sure you go back and watch that one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, we had I think it was about an hour, wasn't it? We had his mother and sister was talking with us. Yeah, I'm still not sure what to think about any of that.
All right, so here's an active case going on right now. Graham Lacher is a 38-year-old male, 5'11", 190 pounds. So he was at the Dorothy Dix Psychiatric Center on June 6, 2022, when he bolted from the young lady that was taking him for walks. He typically took one walk a day, never had an issue. That day, he asked if he could have another walk, and that's when he unfortunately bolted from her. We did talk to Graham's mom, Tammy, I think it was last year about the case. So if you didn't get a chance to watch that, make sure you pull that up. I can't quite read my thing here. Let me go full screen. The last seen Bangor, Maine wearing dark Carhartt-like work clothes, black boots, and black-rimmed prescription glasses. If you know anything about the case, Bangor Police Detective Jordan Perry is the one that's heading that up. It can be reached at 207-947-7382. Graham has never held a job, never maintained his own household, or driven a car. He has no history of substance abuse, violence, or suicidal behavior, but has impaired judgment and delusions that place his life in jeopardy.
Yeah, it was kind of a tough conversation with his mom. He's actually quite a gifted guy. Like he likes to read. He knows he would read a lot of philosopher poetry. Like he was into art. I believe he was into art, at least. I could be wrong. Well, I mean poetry. I guess that's.
Yeah, she
but-
had shown us some pictures he'd drawn, right?
Okay, I thought so. I didn't want to confuse that with someone else. But he did run off once before as well, right? Not too long before that.
Yeah, just a few months before this last time. He was located fairly quickly.
But he was prone to episodes of I don't know if you'd call it like almost conspiracy theory type, but like he felt like he wasn't safe. So he wanted to leave. And actually this place now again, I don't want to be confusing this. I believe that this place here, or maybe it was another place, he didn't actually want to leave. Like they were threatening to remove him. Was it from this place? They thought they were going to have to remove him.
Yeah, it seemed like he liked being there and the freedoms that he did have on that campus. Graham does have autism and suffers from schizophrenia as well. Here's a picture of Graham a little bit younger, but shaved in case, you run across him and he's shaved his beard. I actually driving on Capitol Street or State Street in Augusta a couple days ago. I drove by this guy and he's got a long beard. It was like a dreadlock beard, which I'd never seen. Usually I see like dreadlock hair, right? But the beard was dreadlock. And he had long hair and he had glasses on. I'm like, I had to turn around and come back to make sure that wasn't Graham. I'm always looking for these guys that are missing, though. I'm actually going to show you guys. So here's a video that his mom had posted on her page, just so you can kind of see how Graham walked, his mannerisms, and also he's going to be dictating a poem he wrote, so you get to actually hear his voice as well.
It has a fairly distinct gait to his walk too, so
let's see. Is that on your screen, Jeff?
Yeah, I see it.
You kind of see the way he walks, his toes kind of point out a little bit.
Ignorance. There is so much I am ignorant of. I see only to imagine, and if to know, then only to fragmentate. I may know, but I am limited by experience and extraction. Why then to worry when as it is I have what I have, though I must know more? And as a fragmentary mind sees things ineffectually, it must come to see better.
All right, that go off. Okay.
Yeah.
So it makes it real, right? Like you see his picture and you imagine in your own head the type of guy he is and his mannerisms, but when you actually see him walking, you see his movements, you hear him talk, it just makes it so much realer. His housing unit. That's what.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's probably talk about like what he liked. We talked about him liking it.
Yeah. Man would have responded better. Yeah, that's the situation was just about everything, because I didn't really see much about this sort of about him going missing until Travis had mentioned it. And yes, he lived in a group home. But 38-year-old man goes missing, and some people just don't seem to pay as much attention to it as they maybe should have. Now, the photo, wasn't this photo here actually, was that the first time that he'd gone missing, or was this after? Was
the one with his orange hat? I think it was the current time missing.
Right.
He was
because he actually had a debit card or something, right, that he had used.
And I don't think that, but
okay.
He was seen quite a few times that first couple of days, and his hat was left in Bangor. They found his hat right on a curb in Bangor, I guess. Sorry, I was looking that up. His mom had posted an update a little while ago.
Oh, right.
I literally had that and was telling you about it earlier, and then now it's disappeared off my phone.
Well, if you can't find it, it was roughly that they believe that his main care was
Jillian should call in so we can interview her about Graham. She seems to know a lot about his case.
Okay, so he had no personal items. Yeah, his main care was reactivated or used, right?
Yeah, that's the post I'm trying to find. Not sure why I can't. Want me to do it now? It's because we're live here.
Oh, Jillian saying it was a mistake. Is that why you can't find it? Was the post removed? That would have been pretty significant.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't find it.
No, Jillian saying it's up still.
It's on the missing page? Because I thought I saw it on Tammy's page, but maybe that was the video that I was grabbing from there. I'm not sure I'm crazy about this music.
Let me see.
All right, Jillian, you're going to have to come on here now and read what that said, because it was pretty important stuff. They talk about possible sightings. They talk about his services may have been used. Man, oh man. Jillian, please save me.
Okay, no, I'm seeing it now.
All right, good. You can go over it then.
But I'm wondering if this might be what they're saying about it being an accident and everyone got the letter. But this is what the post says. Our hopes soared in October when it looked like my missing disabled son, Graham Lacher, had access to medical services somewhere. All of these things happened last month. I got a letter from the state of Maine telling me Graham's main care had been reinstated. The state had discontinued it months earlier when I couldn't tell them where it was. A possible sighting that involved a man matching Graham's description being transported by an ambulance was reported to us. The witness said he had even thought the man had given him his name as Graham. I received an email in Graham's Maine health portal asking, how did we do? As if Graham had received a service, and they wanted to know if he was satisfied. Long story short, none of these tantalizing tips paid off. we were unable to find any information about the ambulance transport. The state of Maine reversed its earlier decision for no known reason, and the email from Maine Health was the equivalent of spam, i.e., if you ever do receive services from in the future and do get an email from us asking for feedback, please do answer it. After all that disappointment, we had one second. I'll share this actually the screen so that people can see this at real time. Facebook.
Let me get there to that.
Have a bunch of my nonsense on here. Oh no, okay, it's not sharing anything crazy.
Thank God.
So, yeah, long story short, none of the tantalizing tips paid off. Blah. After all that disappointment, we had even worse news. A corpse was found in Brewer, and the state's medical examiner was checking DNA to see if it was my son's. Only yesterday did we learn that the remains found were not Graham's. We were so relieved the body was found was not Graham's, but we feel for the family whose worst nightmares will be confirmed.
Does anyone know what who the body was that was found? Have they announced that yet? Does anyone know?
And here's you're good. Here's a full list of possible sightings reported to us in October. This is just for October. October 2nd, Food Coop, Blue Hill, unresolved. October 5th, ball field near Wilson Street, Arcane Road, Brewer, unresolved, delayed report. August 15th, sighting involved in ambulance transport. Davenport Park, Bangor, eliminated, ID'd by us, not to be Graham. Cascade Park, Bangor, eliminated, ID'd by us, not to be Graham. Walgreens, same thing. Route 1, unresolved. Kennedy Memorial Drive, Waterville, eliminated, ID'd by us. And police as not being Graham. Weston Ave in Augusta, unresolved. DNA requested. Chest body in Brewer, determined not to be Graham. Sabatis Street, Lewiston, unresolved. Many thanks to everyone who continues to keep an eye out and report all possible sightings to us. They're doing is this Graham's mom that's doing this, or is this I don't know, whoever it is that's running this page is doing a very good job of keeping things updated and timelines. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Graham's mom. She's yeah, and she's a very very smart, well-spoken lady too. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is her.
And I think Brandy, and I'm sorry, Brandy, I can't remember her last name, but she's helped a lot there as well.
So,
Jillian, what Assistance Plus is yours? There's a few in the state, right? But thank you for posting his Graham's on my digital sign Assistance Plus, so I assume his missing poster. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's got to be such a roller coaster with all of that just in October alone, all of the possible sightings. But it's good that people are, paying attention, that people are looking and that they're reporting what they think they see. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's an Assistance Plus on Bangor Street, maybe in Augusta. What cases are you guys looking into? What cases are you following? I know we talked about Alex Jackson earlier. Still a strange case. I was on Google Earth last night, like 9 o'clock, trying to look at different places in Leeds. Where a truck could be hidden or gone off the road or anything like that. Unfortunately, Google isn't really good about updating. Oh, she's in Benton. Okay. We'll give a shout out to Assistance Plus in Benton. You guys do a lot of good work. My wife is a drug and alcohol counselor as well, and she is amazing with her clients. I'm sure as you are. Angel Tony Torres. Do you know this case, Jeff?
No, I'm not familiar with it.
He's Most people believe that he's involved with the, oh my gosh, Ashley Willett. Wow. See, I'm getting old. I used to have all these names right here. So Ashley Willett was found on Pine Point Road in Scarborough, deceased. And Angel had told his parents that he knew who had killed her, and then like within a week later, he came up missing.
Oh,
that's a good one, actually. Maybe I should reach out to Angel's mom and dad. I know they do quite a few interviews.
Let's see.
You know what I'd like to actually is get Ashley's mom on here, or mom and dad, and Angel's parents too. That would be pretty incredible.
"24 years since it happened now."
How many? 34 years?
24.
Oh, 24. Oh, okay, I was gonna,
Yeah,
34 years.
Yeah, you're old. You're not that old. Don't
I'm
worry.
getting old. What a sad case that is too. And Ashley Willett's case is easily solved. I mean, I'm not a PI, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the Sanborns.
Well, we can go over that right now. We're live anyways. So let me pull up at least the first article that popped up, right? So somebody come forward, Angel Torres, remembered 24 years after disappearance. It's been 24 years since Angel Tony Torres disappeared from the Biddeford area. He's last seen May 21st, 1999. His parents continue to plead for answers. Someone knows where our son is. Angel's parents, Ramona and Narciso Torres, told Maine State Police. Angel was at the end of his junior year in college when he traveled from Massachusetts to Biddeford. I wasn't even from Maine. Wow.
Jay Carney, and Jay Carney's name is also involved with Ashley's case as well. The rumor is that Jay helped the brothers kind of get rid of her body, and then
is that the girl that was with him, or that knew about it?
Yeah, that's the case he said he knew about.
Okay.
Jay and Tony left a party to walk down to the store, and then Jay came back alone without Tony.
Okay. So Maine State Police say the night Angel disappeared, he was on South Street in Biddeford. They say the man he was with, Jay Carney, their key witness in Angel's case, died in 2015 of a drug overdose. Okay. Carney reportedly died without telling the police the whole story about what happened that night. Investigators believe foul play was involved. More than 2 decades later, his parents are still searching for answers. Please, somebody come forward, says Ramona Torres. Please come forward. Think about when you put your children to bed. What would you feel if your son or daughter was missing? Wouldn't you want somebody to come forward? Ramona Narciso, I'm so terrible at this. Narciso Torres, Angel's parents, say they don't think police have any leads in the more than 2-decade-long cold case. They say their son's disappearance hasn't gotten any easier over the years. The family has offered a $20,000 reward in hopes somebody leads them to their son's remains. If anyone has any information that could result in the recovery of Angel's remains, please contact the Maine State Police at 207-624-7076. Jeez, yeah, but there's a lot more that's not being mentioned about it in just this quick news article, is there?
Right.
Oh, well, Ashley Willett. Oh, that's a new thing, so that's not even going to come up, is it? Do we want to go over that real quick as well, or?
Yeah, sure. That works.
All right.
What are some other cases you guys want us to cover the next couple weeks? Yes, it is much easier if we have someone else on here, Jeff, interview.
I don't mind this, just going over some of these cases.
I don't know.
me personally. So this article from the same WGME 13, who killed Ashley Willett? Police make a plea for new leads in the 1999 murder of Saco student. So Maine State Police have put out another plea to help find a teen's killer in the anniversary of her murder. So yeah, February 10th, and he died what, May 21st?
May 21st.
So yeah, so 2.5 months later.
Right.
So was he from the area, or did he just happen to know? Was he just going to school in Mass? Is that what was going on?
I'm trying to remember, and help me if I don't remember, but I feel like maybe he was visiting his parents, but he lived somewhere else.
Okay. So anyways, at 3:57 a.m. on February 10th, 1999, a passing motorist saw a body in the middle of Point Road in Scarborough. It was a body of 15-year-old.
A mom and a teenage son are the ones that found her body.
Oh, man. It was the body of 15-year-old Ashley Willett, a sophomore at Thornton Academy in Saco. She was last seen alive around 2 a.m. at the home in Saco where she was spending the night. Police say Ashley was strangled to death. Wow. In the years since, investigators say they've interviewed hundreds of people searching homes of Willett's acquaintances, but never made any arrests. And they have all these things all these other articles. Police seek new leads. Yeah, and then they're talking about Angel Torres.
Those two brothers, Sanborn brothers, and I can't remember who was older, the Stephen and I can't remember his brother's name, but
there's a lot of context that seems to be missing from here.
Ashley had dated the older brother, and then they weren't dating anymore, but she still had a crush on Stephen, or I think he was the older one. And then the younger brother actually was in love with Ashley, and who knows?
Oh man. Yeah, there's a lot lacking in the context department, like all the other connections and stuff like that. So I did have one other thing.
I was going to pull up the Sanborn's record, but
no, have at it. No,
I was struggling there, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, this is just one more thing. I actually had a few other cases that I was going to talk about, missing kids and stuff like that. That were fairly recent, but fortunately, they'd all been found in the last couple days. So
That's
found
awesome.
safe. So it's a good thing if we don't have stuff to talk about, I guess, in the end of the day, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So this was a teenager who went missing. I believe it was this year. Let me get back to that. Yeah, in June of this year, Keyshawn Williams, or Keyshawn, Cleveland, Ohio, 15 years old. And it does give vehicle information here. A black Jeep SUV might have had temporary registration plates, but that doesn't come up in any of the news articles what that has to do with anything. But it says the Cleveland Division of the Police in Cuyahoga County has issued an Amber Alert for the missing child named Keyshawn Williams. He was last seen at 5719 Fleet Avenue wearing cream-colored jogging pants with white and blue lettering and gray Jordan tennis shoes. The suspect's name is unknown. The involved vehicle is described as a black Jeep SUV with temporary license plates. Now, like I said in the news article, which I'll switch over to that, it doesn't say anything about him getting into a vehicle. I don't know if it's maybe an associate they thought he might have been with. With an Amber Alert still active, and there will be canvassing event on Saturday. Well, this is from September, right? So this is still a while ago. On the night of June 17th, 15-year-old Keyshawn Williams called his mother, letting her know that he was on his way home. However, Keyshawn never made it home. Instead, he was reported missing on June 20th, sparking an Amber Alert. There's currently a $10,000 reward for information on the teen's whereabouts. After he was last seen in the Slavic Village neighborhood, Sergeant Wilfredo Diaz, public information officer for the Cleveland Division of Police, says authorities are still actively investigating his disappearance. Currently, all the investigative leads that we have received have been vetted, Diaz said. Our detectives are working around the clock with officers and federal partners to go through every single lead that we get. Now, police are asking anyone who may have information or anyone who may have seen something to speak up. It's difficult, especially when it's a juvenile, Diaz admitted in this particular case. We're all invested in this from the chief down. We're all concerned about this. We're working as hard as we can. But we ask the public if someone has any information, anything that may come to mind that they may have seen that night, the day of anything they've heard, reach out to us, give us that information, and it'll be thoroughly vetted by our detectives. Diaz tells 3 News there are 2 detectives assigned to the case who have been working around the clock. They're constantly communicating, he added. We also have some federal partners that are assisting with the resources. Any situation we get where they're required additional resources, they're able to reach out. And whether it's additional patrols or anything that needs to be done, we're working on that as well. We're not holding back. The division is we actively want to bring Kashawn back home. The Amber Alert on Williams is still active, and those involved in the efforts to find him, including Newburgh Heights Police Chief and Cleveland Missing Board President John Mayjoy, I believe, want to get the word out. Not everybody is aware of the case, so we're going to try to make them aware of the case, Mayjoy said earlier this week. Someone might say, hey, I just saw him the other day, or, I saw someone who saw someone, or whatever the case is. I mean, it's this is how cases get solved. They'll be canvassing event to distribute flyers in the Slavic Village neighborhood at 1 p.m. Saturday. Okay, it's difficult because, like any investigation, we get pieces. It's like a puzzle. We have to put it together, Diaz said. Some leads are not necessarily good leads, but we still have to vet them. So those are time-consuming. Those are genuinely difficult parts of investigations. It's making sure that every single thing is looked at thoroughly and vetted. So most of that's just police talking to themselves. But
that's a question that I hear a lot on Facebook is, why didn't they issue an Amber Alert for this person or that person? But in this case, they did, because it's a minor. They believe that he was abducted. They have vehicle description, and that's when they do Amber Alerts. They don't do it for every single minor that's missing. So Sherry says, Ayla Reynolds is always on my mind. Where's the poor child? I'm sure she's passed, but to be able to put her body to rest and closure for her family so they could begin healing. So Ayla's the whole reason why I started doing this stuff. And Trista just posted on her page the other day, I'm friends with her mom, Trista, that unfortunately her civil suit has been pushed back another 4 or 5 months, her lawyer told her, which I don't understand that. It's been 2 years now trying to get through civil court with that case. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, Breezy's absolutely right.
They'll never find that poor Ayla. It's sad, but the people who were at the house know what happened and will never talk. Absolutely agree. Jeff actually did we did an episode on season 1 about Ayla with Donna Heisterman, and then we did a 7-part miniseries on Ayla Reynolds as well. Like each episode's about 15 minutes to a half hour long, so those can be found on our podcast platform. While we went through like the blood evidence, the statement analysis. Well, that was with my wife, I guess. The statement analysis one. Yes, one shout out for her.
Yeah, we actually had her on as well. Was it alive? I don't
No,
remember.
It was the very episode 7 of that mini cast was Ayla. Was Trista talking to us as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they were talking about the event they were doing for her, right? The pink candles or pink lights or something like that for her.
Yes, the pink light bulbs in the porches. Breezy, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, and I've said this probably 50 times, and Jeff's probably sick of hearing me say it, but if PD and CPS had taken the other 2 kids that were in the home, that were allegedly in the home that night, I think that one of those other mothers would have talked. Either Courtney or Alicia would have talked, and they didn't do that. To me, I feel like that
And
protecting a
well,
child is.
Yeah,
Yep.
a kid going missing that night and then taking the kids, like that's assuming guilt. You know, I mean, they cops as it is, they have to sort of walk on eggshells with certain things. I can see why they didn't. But yeah, like you said, hindsight, if they would have done something like that, yeah, they probably could have gotten some information out. But I think that's almost a hostage scenario. They probably would have been sued.
Well, I don't know.
But-
Like, so you have a kid missing, her blood throughout the house. How can they say those other kids were safe there? You know, Alicia lived in that house with her brother. I mean, you could say, well, the girlfriend actually had a house, apartment in Portland, so she's, as long as she's not there with him, then she's safe. I don't know, but I still think it's also neat is that the DePietros follow our page. I'm pretty sure they keep changing the names up and they make little comments and they complain to me about everything, and that it's Trista's fault that she was missing, which I wholeheartedly disagree with. So Justin's no longer in California. He actually came back to Maine. He was looking for a job down Lewiston last year. He was here for about 4 months, and then last I heard, he's in Florida. Yeah, so Breezy's agreeing with me. Not if the kids are not safe. Like, I think they have more reason to take those kids versus taking Ayla from her aunt, right? When Trista was in rehab, getting help, trying to make herself better. And that irritates me too, is the victim shaming that I see all the time. People blaming Trista because she's trying to do better for her kids. She certainly didn't ask for her child to go missing.
Right.
With that loser.
Yeah, it sucks talking about this sort of stuff, but you have to. Someone has to.
I wish you could see who's watching, because I'm sure they like to watch our stuff. Sherry says, right. Absolutely. I've talked about this before, and I'm not psychic by any means, and I don't think I'm psychic, but the whole reason Ayla is so important to me is I had a dream about her like 5 days after she went missing, as to where she was. I've spent a lot of time myself looking in that same area for her. I don't think I'm crazy. Maybe I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
The weird part is my now 11-year-old daughter, she was like a year and a half old, and we drove through that same spot. I told my wife where the spot was. We drive through that spot, and my daughter says, "Daddy, there's a baby in the trees." It's like, what the hell? Like, so is it a boy or girl? It's a girl, and she misses her mommy. That killed me. So I got to go back again, Jeff. What are you doing next Saturday?
Well, until 3, I'm working at the bar. 3 after that, I don't work Sundays anymore.
Well, I'll hang out at the bar with you until 3, then we'll stumble through the woods.
Absolutely, that works for me.
Sherry Adams, do you have a theory? There's one theory that I keep going back to, but we've heard other things. I think he got into something of his drug wise. Oh, I don't know if my wife probably didn't like me saying that about our kid. I don't know if she got into his drugs and overdosed. I know a lethal dose of heroin can cause vomiting of blood, which would explain if this blood splatter, maybe someone in my head, someone's picking her up, like patting her back, and she's vomiting blood, or something. Oh, no, Danielle said no, the bar. That's what she was upset about. But then we had a tip that, so first of all, I don't think that she went missing when they said that she went missing. I'm pretty sure she went missing the Friday before. Thursday night, Trista had spoken to Ayla, and she was fine. She called back on Saturday, and that's the night that Justin claims that she was too busy watching Home Alone, which a 20-month-old baby's not going to care about the movie Home Alone. And then Monday, she missed her doctor's appointment. The only one to see her outside of that home that week was Tadula. And he's also the guy that sold Justin the... Oh, are you talking to someone, Jeff?
Yes, I was talking to Shelly.
Oh, okay. He's also the one that sold the life insurance policy to Justin, so that's what I think happened. One of the tips we got into our email was that the Friday night before there was a card game going on, and Ayla was downstairs, and they had put up like a baby gate over the doorway. She came to the top of the doorway, was crying for her father or whatever, and he got upset and came over and like kicked the gate, and then she tumbled down backwards and hit her head and died. It's just sad, and I'm pretty sure that's what Trista thinks happened as far as overdose theory as well. But I don't want to speak for her, but I'm pretty sure that's what she had said.
Oh, my kitty cats are fighting.
I will say this. No, I won't. Never mind. I was gonna tell you something else I'd heard, but I don't really.
Yeah,
that guy.
We're careful enough with it as it is. We try to let guests know that they have to watch what they're talking about, or ask them to use certain language when they're talking about their assumptions and stuff. So we have to be careful as well when it comes to our opinions. But if it is an opinion, it is what it is, right? We can say we think something happened.
Sherry, you can message the page after, and I can tell you. I just don't want to mention that guy's name because he's one of the places he mentioned being involved, but it's an interesting theory. All right, do you guys have any other questions or comments for us before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, we know that this week was maybe a little bit on the slower side, but we're gonna keep doing this every week. I thought I still think it went okay. Yeah, we'll try to get guests on as often as we can, but I still think it's important that we at least get on here and we talk about some of the people that are currently missing, or bring up some older cases that maybe people aren't talking about, just so that there are people still talking about it, right? I know that I would appreciate that if I had a family member that was missing, that there's still some people out there trying to bring it to others' attention. Well, thank you, Breezy. That's
what'd you say?
First live you've seen, and for sure tune in again. We appreciate that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, definitely watch last week, Breezy, if you're into the Alex Jackson case. It's a crazy case, and there's lots of comments under that video last week that you might find interesting as well. Oh, she loves the podcast too. Thanks, Sherry. I think what we're going to start doing, just so we have more consistent output, is doing these lives, but then putting them on the podcast platform as well, just to get some more material out there. I wanted to say real quick about the Ayla Reynolds mini cast that we did, the different episodes. So one is the timeline, so it breaks down, the dates and times of everything that happened. Episode 2 is the blood evidence. Episode 3 is the statement analysis of the 911 call. Let's see. Episode 4 is the life insurance policy that was sold to Justin. Episode 5 is the mistakes that were made in the investigation. Episode 6 is DHHS's involvement, and we had a special guest come in and talk about that. And episode 7 is Remembering Ayla with special guest Trista Reynolds.
And Breezy was asking, where the podcast at?
A podcast?
The podcast, it's on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, like any of the major podcasting platforms. You can find us. Just look up Locating the Lost. Pretty much our entire collection has been on YouTube, or it's been re-uploaded onto YouTube.
Yep. Yeah, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us.
So make sure to do your friends if they're into this sort of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. The more people we get involved in our page, the more likely these cases will be solved and people will be found.
Thank you, Danielle.
Danielle's my wife.
But okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next weekend. And we'll have the same sort of setup, where people will be able to call in and ask questions. I know we didn't have anyone calling in tonight, but maybe next week we'll have a little bit more activity, and we'll be speaking with our first official podcast guest, which will be nice to circle back with her and talk to her again.
Oh yeah. So Lucha Blander's wife, Linda. So that would be great because she, like Jeff was saying, she's our very first podcast we ever did 4 years ago was with her on Lucha's case. So that'll be neat to talk to her again.
Yeah. But okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.